Hey friends, welcome back to Bible Tea. I have a song that I want to share with you today. It's one of my favorite songs. Aaron actually sent it to me a while back, and I just feel like it has a good message for anyone that's kind of struggling and like just to their breaking point. I think it has a really good message behind it. So I hope you enjoy it. And then we will dive into chapter 7 of the book of Esther. Well, blue skies and hillsides feel so far away, and I wrote in my notebook that I've seen better days than the ones as of late. I can't bear the weight. The rain won't stop pouring out my window pane, and I haven't left my bedroom in 76 days. I wish something would change, 'cause I'm losing faith. So I brought it up in a desperate prayer. Lord, why are you keeping me here? Then he said to me, child, I'm planting seeds. I'm a good God and I have a good plan. So trust that I'm holding a watering can, and someday you'll see that flowers grow in the valley. Whatever the reason, I'm barely getting by. I'll trust it's a season, knowing that you're by my side every step of the way. And I'll be okay, 'cause I brought it up in a desperate prayer. Lord, why are you keeping me here? Then he said to me, child, I'm planting seeds. I'm a good God and I have a good plan. So trust that I'm holding a watering can, and someday you'll see that flowers grow in the valley. When I'm on the mountain and looking down below, I'll see a valley of flowers that needed time to grow. And I'll thank you for the rain, the hurt and days of pain. And I'll bring it up in a grateful prayer. Thank you, Jesus, for keeping me there. You know just what I need, and you planted seeds, 'cause you're a good God with a real good plan, and you hold my world in a watering can, so I can have peace, 'cause flowers grow in the valley. So yeah, the name of that song is called Flowers by Samantha Ebert, I think's how you say her last name. But it has just been one of those powerful songs that when you hear it, to me it sent chills down me. And I just really love the song. I feel like she done a really good job writing it, or whoever wrote it done a really wonderful job, because man, it just talks. So now that we've done a little song for the morning, let's go ahead and dive on into Esther chapter 7. Now, it's been a couple of days since I've posted. But here I am back again today with some more Bible tea. So, right off the bat, we can see that chapter 7 has 10 verses in it altogether. Now, just for a little summary of the chapter, we're now officially into the second day where the king and Haman are invited to the banquet of wine, which is the feast that Queen Esther prepared to ask the king potentially to save her and her people. So let's look on into it. What I got out of chapter 7. I do want to say I felt like this was a very short chapter, and I learned something new that I actually did not know happened, and it was kind of a shock, but I can understand why. So let's go ahead and get into it. So, as I said, we're now at the second day of the banquet of wine that is Esther that Esther is hosting to invite the king and Haman to. So the king then asked her again for the second time, basically, "What do you want? I'll give it to you. Whatever your request is, it will happen. I'll make sure it happens," basically. So instead of like the day before we saw in chapter 6 where she asked for them to come back for another visit to eat, Esther, has decided, okay, it's time to officially ask. So she says, and this is in my words, I'll just put it like this. So when the king asked her again, "What do you want? I'll give it to you," and all of that, Esther is then able to ask the king to save her life and her people's lives because somebody plotted against them to kill them. So the king, Esther, as we said last video, Esther's his favorite lady. So, of course, this is going to make the king very mad. And he's like, well, who would do such thing? Who would dare seek to kill you or your people? And Esther's like, bro, it's your friend here, Haman. Haman done it. Yep, he's wicked, he's evil, he's the one who wants to kill us. So the king at this point is like beyond furious. So what he does is he then walks away and goes to the gardens. Now, the way I imagine they have this room set up is like there's couches, cushions, like a lounging couch probably is how I imagine this. So when Esther's like, Haman's the one who is trying to kill us, and Haman's there at the banquet with them, he is mortified. Like, he's like, oh no, I'm in it now. And he is mortified about losing his life. So he goes over to Esther, who's sitting on this area, and they called it a bed in verse 8. And I'll just read you the verse to show how now we know the king's already mad, but this will just show how much even madder that's not even a word, sorry. We'll show how much more upset he can get. So remember, the king's in the garden. Haman is terrified for his life. So he's going over to Esther. So by this time the king has returned, and verse 8 says, "Then the king returned out of the palace garden into the place of the banquet of wine, and Haman was fallen upon the bed whereon Esther was. Then said the king, Will he force the queen also before me in the house? As the word went out of the king's mouth, they covered Haman's face. So the king was in the garden. Haman was going over to beg for his life. He somehow ended up on top of Esther, is what I'm thinking. Because when I've read that, like, I'm thinking, oh, the king thinks he's going to try to rape her. Not that he's trying to beg for his life. So Haman's covered. They got him. Another chamberlain of the king's is like, hey, so we found this out. Haman had made gallows to kill Mordecai, the one you just got done praising for saving your life. He was going to ask you to use those to kill him with. And so when the king had heard this, and after finding out Haman was seeking to kill Queen Esther and her people. Now keep in mind, Haman didn't know that Esther was a Jew. Neither did the king, because I feel like if he did, he would have turned Haman down. But this had to happen in order to show, I believe us, that God's in control, and whenever something's not going our way, that his plans are still greater than what we think and what we think we need, because he is a good God, and he does have really, really, really wonderful plans for us. So the king at this point is like, when he hears that what Haman has done, he's like, well, let's just use those gallows and put him on it to kill him with. And so once the king says, let it be done, it's done. Haman gets to go and be hung on the gallows that he created for Mordecai. And to me, if that isn't God seeking vengeance on Mordecai's behalf, after everything that's happened, all from not bowing down to one man, I feel like that's just God, see, I told you, don't try to seek revenge. Don't try to seek revenge. Let me handle it. I'll have a better outcome. Now, maybe it's not a better outcome for the person who was in the wrong, but as we can see now, Haman is no longer a problem, but we still have to think there was a decree made in the first or second chapter of Esther that went out. And it was again, just a reminder, it basically was the king can't change this. Nobody can change this. On this day at this time, all the Jews will be killed. It didn't say that, by changing, I mean they can't take it back. They can't take back the word. But they can add to it. So let's keep that in mind as we move on forward to the next chapter. Now we only about 3 chapters. So I done some, last time I made a video, I had asked you all to be thinking of some books of the Bible you all would like to do more reading on, studying, and talk about. So these are some of the books that I've came up with so far. If you have any that you want to add to it, go ahead and put them in the comments, or just send me a text or tell me in person. But the 4 books that I've been interested in learning more about, either I have read them, or from chapter 1 to the last chapter of the book, or I have not, and I just feel like it's oh, let's go here type of situation. So the first one that I want to share is I have 2 books. Well, there's two in the Old Testament and 2 in the New Testament. The first one in the Old Testament is Ruth. As I said before, Ruth has been, and I don't know, Esther may be kind of replacing Ruth as my favorite book of the Bible, but Ruth is one of them that I was thinking we could do next. Then there is Micah. I have never read the book of Micah before. So maybe it's something interesting that we can do. I don't know. I don't even know how long the book is. I know that it is a minor prophet part of the Old Testament, but that's about all that I can tell you about it. So the two from the New Testament is the book of Luke and the book of Romans. Because it is beginning to get Easter time and everything. And so maybe that I want to say that there is the Easter story too also in the book of Luke. If I'm wrong, just let me know. I've never read either book from one end to the other. I've read and listened to different sections, like different chapters of the book, but never just read it from the beginning to the end of the book. So that's where we're at. I hope and pray you all have a blessed day, and I will do my best to see you back here tomorrow. But until then, remember, God loves you, and so do I. Bye, friends.